I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
Even the healthiest people among us eat unhealthy foods sometimes. How many of these foods do we eat every day without ever knowing how unhealthy they are?
What are you eating?
Here are 10 unhealthy foods you probably eat every day.
Foodies, heed my call!
Margarine. There was once a time when people thought margarine was better for you than butter. Butter ruled the land for thousands of years, and then here comes margarine. Margarine was marketed as a new, healthier replacement to butter.
I can't believe it has 40% fewer calories than butter.
But let's be honest here, it's not butter, and it doesn't taste like butter no matter what Fabio says. What's so bad about margarine? Some will say that it is the artificial flavorings and how the vegetable fat is turned into a creamy, butter-like substance.
I can't believe.
The major issue people point out is that many kinds of margarine are made from palm oil. Due to a lack of research, we don't know much about the effects of palm oil on our bodies. Maybe even worse, we do know that the production of palm oil has a nasty impact on the environment. Skip the margarine and go with butter, or use olive oil as a substitute for both, if at all possible. Butter is a natural product that has been around for thousands of years. Margarine is a highly processed version that's been around for decades. You make the choice.
What is my purpose?
Pass the butter.
Breakfast cereal. How many of us wake up in the morning and scarf down a bowl of breakfast cereal? Are you the type who loves the sweetest cereal on the supermarket shelf? If so, then you better rethink your morning routine.
I want Reese's Puffs, okay?
Okay.
Cereal tastes great, and it's super easy to prepare compared to a stack of pancakes and a couple of eggs over easy, but it all comes at a cost. The cereals you're eating may be doused with a healthy dose of butylated hydroxytoluene and butylated hydroxyanisole.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Doesn't that just sound delicious? Who wouldn't want a bowl full of chemicals that are banned in several countries around the world? Now, let's talk about sugar. There is all kinds of sugar in breakfast cereal. You might as well pour a bag of sugar straight into your mouth.
The only killer on the ship is the amount of sugar in this cereal.
Skip the artificial flavors and go straight for the good stuff that provides the get up and go every morning needs. Not all breakfast cereal is terrible. Many have little to no added sugar in them at all. If you want to eat cereal, then you should get a brand where you can control how much sugar is in the bowl. Bran flakes and corn flakes are two kinds of cereal that tend to have less sugar, and they are a great way to start your day if you don't have the time or energy to cook a huge breakfast. Tubs of frosting.
Nothing says I love you like something from... Hey, what the hell are you doing, you crazy...
You know which tubs of frosting we're talking about. The ones found in the cake aisle in whipped or creamy formats. You buy the frosting and eat it right off of the spoon. Sometimes you might buy a box of cake mix too, so people think you're actually going to bake a cake to go with that frosting.
A cake. It's close enough, right?
Frosting is a comfort food that goes way beyond the warm fuzziness that ice cream can deliver. So what's so bad about this creamy delight? Don't hate us. We're not the ones who put this stuff in your tub of icing. There's something called propylene glycol that's found in quite a few of the commercially available frostings. In massive doses, that stuff has been known to lead to serious health concerns. By massive, we're talking a lot more than 1 or even 50 tubs of icing, but still, do you really want that in your body?
I think they're concerned parents who wouldn't want negative influences around their child.
If that wasn't bad enough, there's also all kinds of artificial colors and flavorings in frosting. So if you're not frosting a cake with it, maybe just stick to a lick or two instead of the whole tub. Fruit juice.
I didn't know what I was putting into my body.
Well, we're here to tell you that the stuff they call fruit juice isn't worth pouring down your gullet. You might as well mainline a dose of corn syrup directly into your veins if you're considering drinking fruit juice. So, what's so bad about fruit juice? How can anything that comes from fruit be bad for you? It's the amount of sugar that's in there, of course. The problem is there's no fiber to aid and slow down the digestion process when drinking juice. You're drinking pure sugar when downing a glass of your favorite juice. A ton of added sugars, too.
are you doing, Mrs. Stoney? No, you can't do this. You can't do this here.
You probably drink way more than 8 ounces of juice. Some of you might down a pint or 2 of the stuff every day. With all that sugar, drinking juice is no healthier than drinking soda.
When you chug that, it feels like you're drowning.
Bacon. Is there anything in life better than bacon? By far, bacon is one of the world's more perfect foods. You can add bacon to just about anything and it will be delicious. Have you ever tried a hot fudge bacon sundae?
Oh, that does sound good.
It sounds pretty weird until you try it. So how can anything as delicious as bacon be bad for you? Well, first off, it's full of fat. Bacon is one of those foods that, though we hate to admit it, is a greasy, heart-stopping mess. If that wasn't enough, then there are nitrates and nitrites in the stuff. If these two things are heated up, they can become carcinogenic. That's right, you knew something this good had to be so incredibly bad for you.
I don't want to be right.
Anything that tastes as good as bacon must be a funeral waiting to happen. Some say to cook your bacon low and slow to avoid this risk. With all that fat, it's probably only safe to eat bacon once every leap year anyway.
I just love the smell of sizzling bacon, don't you?
If you can, try to find the uncured bacon, as it will save you from the bad stuff that could cause cancer. Uncured bacon is still loaded with fat, but at least it's something your body can tolerate in small amounts. Pancake syrup. Do you notice a trend here? Everything that you love for breakfast is bad for you.
I love maple syrup. I love maple syrup on pancakes. I love it on pizza.
We're not talking about maple syrup here, though you should eat that stuff with caution as well. However, the real problem is those bottles of fake syrup that are nothing but high fructose corn syrup. Yes, the same stuff that makes soda and everything else so sweet. These pancake syrups are nothing more than liquid sugar, and that's why they are so bad for you. Let's not forget that they taste great. No one denies how yummy pancake syrup is.
How come you taste so good? Well, my syrup is very thick and rich.
By the time you're done loading down your pancakes with fake syrup and margarine, you've got something more unhealthy than many fast food breakfasts. You should use the real stuff and stick with maple syrup. But if you can't, then use as little of the fake syrup as possible. If you can, it's always better to add some fresh fruit to your pancakes for sweetness.
Sweet baby Jesus!
Honey is also a great substitute, and it's better for you since it has been processed by Mother Nature herself and not a bunch of machines. Potato chips. Say it ain't so. Who can live their best lives without eating potato chips? It doesn't matter if we're talking Pringles, Lay's, or your local favorite that is as delicious as they are hard to find elsewhere.
But if you really wanted it, it's not so hard to find.
Potato chips are the best snack out there. Have you ever tried chocolate-covered potato chips? Yes, they are a thing. If you are craving salty and sweet, then a bag of chips that were dipped in chocolate is exactly what you need. From salty to spicy and everything in between, there's a chip out there for everyone. Please don't hate us.
Hate us because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We're not saying that you should give up your chips entirely. No one is foolish enough to believe that you're ever going to quit munching on these crunchy snacks.
Put it back.
No, that would be unreasonable. However, you should be aware that those chips are full of salt and calories. So try to eat as few of them as possible. The best way to exercise moderation when eating something as heavenly as chips is to buy the smallest bag available. It's impossible to eat chips to the point of feeling sick if you don't have that many around. Come on, at least one of you has eaten an entire can of Pringles and regretted it shortly after. So when it comes to chips, moderation is key. Soda. We could sit here and talk all day long about how great soda is.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
There is a flavor of soda out there for anyone, no matter how picky of an eater you are. You know someone who won't eat anything at all, but they'll down can after can of Mountain Dew. Soda is one of those things that everyone loves, but that love comes at a steep price, and it's your health. The reason why you should avoid soda is because of all the sugar, artificial flavors, and chemicals in it. Those of you who drink diet soda aren't out of harm's reach, since that stuff is also loaded with the same things, But it's worse. The artificial sweetener used in your favorite diet soda might be worse than sugar, and it might cause all kinds of health problems. Can you drink a few sodas a month and not have cause for concern? Sure you can. The problem often is, no one can only have a couple of cans of soda and leave it at that.
Oh man, all the orange soda spilled out of my cereal.
The average soda drinker has several cans per day, and all of that sugar, artificial sweetener, and chemicals add up over time. Replace soda with water, coffee, or tea when you can. Even a freshly squeezed glass of lightly sweetened lemonade hits the spot, and it has fewer calories and none of the bad stuff that soda has. If you need that carbonation fix, pick up some seltzer. There are loads of alternatives to soda. You just need to find the one that you like best.
I'll take that.
Canned vegetables. We all know that eating our vegetables is important.
You know, eat your green vegetables.
How many times were you made to sit at the table until all of your vegetables were eaten? If peas only tasted as good as chocolate, we wouldn't be able to eat enough of them. Vegetables are great when they're in season, but that's a short window of time depending on where you live. Frozen vegetables can be a good alternative, but oftentimes they're hard and require so much chewing your jaw becomes tired.
Hey, you stay away from the frozen food section.
The only other solution is canned vegetables. Any supermarket worth shopping at has a plethora of canned vegetables for everyone out there. It doesn't matter how picky of an eater you are, there's something in a can for you. Now we're going to ruin the one healthy thing that you eat.
You ruined everything, ruiner!
You always feel so good when feeding your family healthy vegetables from a can. Well, they aren't as healthy as you think they are. Vegetables in a can might have something called BPA in them, and it might lead to cancer or diabetes. Because BPA has been linked to these health issues, many companies have therefore started using safer canning alternatives. But if you have the choice, fresh is always the way to go. Coffee creamer. We're not talking about the moo juice that you put in your coffee in the morning. That stuff is perfectly fine, and a little bit of it is actually good for you.
Yeah, they lap it up.
And they know it's your breast milk.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about that coffee creamer that's full of artificial ingredients. There's nothing at all even closely related to milk in some of those so-called creamers. They resemble milk or cream in color only. You aren't going to find any actual milk in those creamers, no matter how hard you look. The worst culprits are those that are full of artificial flavors. You know you're in for trouble when the creamer you pour into your coffee has a list of ingredients that's longer than your arm. Let's go ahead and talk about what's so bad about these creamers.
You got this coffee?
First off, they're full of sugar. You might think that you don't eat any sugar at all, but you do in the form of processed foods. They are so full of sugar that it's hard to believe at times. Canola oil is the really bad stuff in the creamer. You should try your best to stay away from anything containing canola oil. Add a little milk to your coffee instead of using this stuff.
Are you suggesting that I purposely tank the coffee creamer tower? Joey, I'm insulted.
If you can't stomach milk, then try one of the many milk alternatives that are way healthier than a creamer full of corn syrup and canola oil.
Come on! It's not even real food!
Tap on another great video, and for all our subscribers, thanks! And be sure to ring that notification bell.